Hello everyone, I am Agent Ross and welcome back to the series. Before we write a single new line of code, let's take a second to understand what we are building today. Right now we can click on pieces and highlight while it moves, but nothing actually moves yet. There is also no turn system, so technically both players can move wherever they want. In this episode we are going to fix that. By the end of this video, you will be able to move pieces, enforce turns, and visually see whose turn it is, all step by step. Today we are adding three major systems. First, piece movement. Second, a turn system that locks moves to the correct player. Third, a visual turn indicator using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, not just JavaScript. Let's start with the turn indicator. This is not part of Three.js. It's normal HTML layer on top of the canvas. We keep the HTML extremely simple. This div is just text. We do not style it here. All styling goes into CSS. This is best practice. Now we switch to our CSS file. This is where we control how the turn indicator looks and where it appears on the screen. Let me explain what this style does. Position absolute lets us place this on top of the canvas. Left 50% plus translate x minus 50% perfectly centers it horizontally. The background color uses RGBA, so we get transparency. Z index ensures it stays above the Three.js canvas. Now let's switch to JavaScript and actually track turns. We will use a variable to store whose turn it currently is. We use the same color values we already used for pieces. This keeps our logic consistent and simple. Next, we enforce turn rules when selecting a piece. We are updating an existing function, not creating a new one. This single line prevents players from selecting pieces that aren't theirs. If the colors don't match, the function exits immediately. We already calculate valid moves, but now we need to know which moves was clicked. We do this by attaching data to the move highlight mesh. UserData is a built-in Three.js object. It lets us store our own custom data on meshes. This is how we know where the pieces should move when a highlight is clicked. Now we update the click handler to detect both pieces and move highlights. We teach the game how to tell the difference between a piece click and a move click. We will be updating handle piece selection function. Alright, so this is the updated function. We test both arrays using raycasting. The reason we are doing like this is because we want to test everything with one raycasting. This prevents duplicate logic and bugs. Now we create a brand new function. This function updates the board, the mesh, the UI, and the turn. This is a brand new function. You can add this function below your other functions. Alright, we update both the logic board position and 3D mesh position. Then we switch turns. And finally, we update the HTML turn indicator text. Whenever a piece moves, we update the DOM text using JavaScript. The CSS handle all styling. So the JavaScript only changes the text content. If you like to make the turn indicator more clearer, you can go back to Style CSS. And from here, you can change the background to any color you want. Just click on here. And then just select any color you like. Let's say we want to select somewhere like this. And if you save, the background color will slightly change. At this point, we have a fully interactive board. Pieces move, turns are enforced, and the UI clearly tells us whose turn it is. This is the foundation of a real game. In the next episode, we will add capturing, jumping over pieces, and removing them from the board. That's where the strategy really starts. If this helped you, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. I am Agent Russ, and see you next time.